Hello, this is Hazel recording from the editing chair. Before the episode begins, I want to let you know that when we recorded this episode, we wound up losing Hunter's audio. But what we did have was a recording of the call in its entirety, all three of us in one track. Albeit with about a half hour missing here and there. I'm going to do my best to edit around it. Hopefully you won't even notice by the end, but there may be a few bits here and there where I feel that there's something that was really worth putting in there anyway, despite the loss of audio, and I may just come in to explain what was said. We'll see how it'll all go once things shake out. I'm not really entirely sure myself. I just wanted to give you this heads up. Every podcast loses an episode at some point. I would much rather it have happened this way than just completely disappear. So in the future, when we have guests on, I've got a bit of a system in place to make sure that something like this ideally won't have to happen again. Hello and welcome to Human Insects, episode 4. I'm Hazel.
And I'm Nicky. Hello.
And as you can see in this episode's title, we have a very special guest with us.
Hello. I'm Hunter.
What's up?
I was thinking about getting into speedrunning.
Oh, shit.
Oh, speedrunning? What are you trying to speedrun?
So that's kind of the problem, is I'm having a little crisis.
Yeah.
It can't be a game that I love too much, because then I think I'll ruin it by playing it too much.
Yeah.
I've had that same thought. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make myself hate this game if I speedrun it. Yeah.
And everyone's kind of ran Super Mario 64. Like everyone and their mother has ran that game. So.
Oh yeah, it's like super optimized at this point. Yeah.
So I was thinking about the DX version of Sonic Adventure.
That was the one that I speedran. I did a little bit of speedrunning. It was really informal. I kind of just learned the route and then would do it as like a really lame party trick.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like that game is broken, but it's not so broken that like you need to be doing a bunch of like frame perfect inputs all the time.
Yeah.
Like most of the jank is just kind of like weaponized against the game, and it's like really easy to clip through shit you're not supposed to.
I saw some of that in your video. Sonic running and just going straight through the fucking floor.
Right, yeah. I forgot that I brought that up.
I don't think I've ever made like a serious attempt to speedrun anything, but I have. It's really funny. The only game I've even thought about, and it really was just like, maybe if I do it this way, I'll actually finish it for once. Was Beautiful Joe, which is like one of my favorite action games. But that game is so brutal, and I'm just like, what if I just brute force it and make myself so good at the game that that's how I finish it anyway? Like, is just. By like exploiting and breaking the game.
A lot of speedrunners do insist that like it's literally easier to speedrun a game than it is to play through it normally a lot of the time. Just because you're like kind of distilling it all down into like a really deliberate science. And then just kind of acting on that muscle memory.
Right. There's no hesitation, no like second guessing,
yeah, exactly.
Like what item to use or what have you.
Yeah. Unless of course it's like an RPG and then it's like 90% still that. You just have to
but then also every RPG, almost every RPG in the world has like some sort of like cuz like none of them are bulletproof. So like every one of them has like some sort of item exploit.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just like, you know what? I'm invincible now.
Final Fantasy VIII, you just fucking go kill some Tyrannosaurus Rexes, and then suddenly you have debug mode on for like the first like 3 discs.
What?
I forget what it is specifically, but there's like a really rare, like really good move that you can get in like that weird jungle area at the home base that gets you a spell that's so good that like do you just charge enough of them? You have like 1 billion attack for like the first 2 discs, just like totally carries you through it.
Yeah. You're doing like 2,000 damage or whatever, and that's just like, you know, like half of everything's health bars like in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Final Fantasy VIII is like super dumb. It's like it feels like everything about how that game works is like, I feel like a beginner like game maker would be like, guys, that's not gonna work. That's not how an RPG, you know. But everyone committed, and they wrote like a really interesting, cool story. Like, it has one of the most convincing love stories in Final Fantasy, I think. So like, I don't know, it's like a really cool special game, but it's also like the dumbest, like, why, like the optimal way to get through that game is to like play trading cards for like 90% of it and battle nothing.
Yeah, and then the fucking trading cards require like actual trigonometry.
I was gonna say, I've never made it past the first hour of the game. It's too hard.
It's really hard.
Until it's the easiest game ever made. But I actually played it regular, and it was extremely hard like the whole time and stuff. So you're right. Yeah, like just speedrunning or just like glitching that game and stuff makes it just like hilariously easy. But yeah, I don't know, video games. Hunter, you made an album. You made a record.
Yeah. Made a little record.
Made a little record.
Little album.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
We both, like, I don't know, like I found it, I think, because I was looking at Rate Your Music. I wish there was a cooler story, but I was looking at Rate Your Music, and there was like a review on the front page, and I was like, that cover art is extremely cool.
Nice.
Like, so I turned it on, and I was like, oh, this is like everything. Like, there's so much stuff in this. And then I sent it to Hazel, and then I think I tweeted about it, and then Hazel tweeted about it, and then I got some people listening to it. And then I just like we've been talking about trying to get guests for this show, so I just sent off the email, and then now you're here. So thank you for being so stoked about the email.
it was like the minute you sent it, I checked my email. It was really weird.
What a coincidence!
But no, it was a weird coincidence because I like you mentioned Hazel in the email, and I was thinking like, oh, that seems very familiar. And it turns out I had just been watching Hazel's, like the algorithm had pushed Hazel to me on YouTube. And so pre Wall of Unsound Mind coming out, I was just chilling watching like Tenchi Muyo hour-long videos.
Yeah, it's still really weird that happens. Like every now and again, I'll have a friend DM me, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I was at someone's house, and they like loaded up the YouTube app, and they'd been watching a bunch of your videos."
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh god,
so fucking weird.
Yeah. I'm still kind of operating under the pretense that like I'm not really like a facet of the outside world, you know?
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, Nicky sent me the album, and it was one of those things where like within 30 seconds, I was just like head over heels. I was like, all right, this is fucking like, this is everything that I want out of a record in 2022.
Yeah.
I got a big smile on my face. Big smile.
Yeah. It was just a super, like, it's just like super tapped into like stuff even like me and Hazel have talked about, of just like, oh, like, I don't know, just a cool album following up on stuff that like we also want to try and follow up on and stuff, or try to mix into things, and then like this album, it's like, oh man, someone else is doing cool stuff that like we've been also conspiring and trying to think of cool ways to do ourselves.
I hear that a lot in Complete Thought.
Oh, in
That's really
Burned In
cool.
record. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
especially the first song. The first song seems like it took a year to make.
oh man.
A Quarter Life
Okay.
Earth Crisis? Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quarter
Yeah.
Life Earth Crisis. You want to know the funniest thing? And
Hmm.
this is not a flex because I'm gonna follow it up with something else. We wrote that song like really quickly,
Yeah,
like
it was
that
in
whole
like 3 days.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
We have recently been finishing up a song that people might hear soonish for the final Pop Spirit comp. And
Right.
that literally did take like a year
Yeah.
to write. Yeah, that song took forever. That's awesome that you see that too. That it goes both ways because like listening to Wall of Unsound Mind, I was like, I don't know, like it feels.
I think the way that I described it to
yeah.
Nikki was basically like, okay, cool. The like logical progression for a lot of the things that I'm looking to do, like the logical conclusion to a lot of the things that I'm looking to do is an end result that is fucking awesome. Basically.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is like what a realized version of a lot of these very disparate things that I'm channeling. And obviously like pulling separate influences from as well. Like there's a version of this that works really well. And that I think genuinely like pushes the genres that it's a part of further.
Yeah. There's like a kinship to it that I think we were feeling. We were like, oh fuck, like it, like I don't know. It felt like it was tapping into like a shared mind space almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Uh,
you referred to it as cut from the same cloth. I heard
Yeah.
that. I enjoyed that. I like that. And
yeah.
and you were talking about the Horse the Band Oxbow influence.
Yeah.
I fucking love those bands. I love them. Love them. I think they're some of the best bands of all time. So
Yeah.
album is sort of I wanted to celebrate like all the different influences and like pay homage to them.
Yeah.
Semi equally to some degree.
Yeah. I hear a lot of Horse the Band's Desperate Living in it, and I absolutely adore that record. Like that record pushed me through like an entire year of high school that I hated, and like that record is like I don't know. It's just such a like it's hard to explain. It's like a I don't know. It's just like a dirt bag like Nintendo Core record. You know, like there's 8-bit synths all over it and stuff. There's a lot of like screamo metalcore stuff on it, a lot of riffs, but it also like I don't know. There's just like this energy to it that it's just I don't know. It's just super like grungy and scrappy and everything, but it's also incredibly ambitious. There's a Jamie Stewart like feature on it. Hazel, I don't know if you've heard the record and stuff. But like
No,
it's got
I haven't. I've heard like some Horse the Band here and there, and every time I have, I've been like, "This is great. I love this."
Yeah. Like I don't know. Horse the Band is kind of interesting because it feels like so much of the conversation is like, or at least a lot of the stuff I ever read online was about like their earlier work and like Cutsman and stuff and like
right
that song. But like but that last record and the EP that they did like. Really fucking amazing stuff.
Yeah. And that was one of those where it took them. I think Nathan, the singer, has a daughter, and all of them are like kind of trying to move on from Horse Band, I think, and then they just put together 3 songs over the course of. I think on their website it said it took them like a decade to put those 3 songs together, which is it makes me sad, but also makes me laugh. I don't know. It's like, but
it's so much time.
It's a little reassuring about that, though. The idea that still feels worth doing a decade on, you know.
Yeah.
They spawned this record essentially. Like I watched their 10-hour long documentary about I think it's just called Earth Tour, where they they just toured the Earth.
Yeah, they went everywhere. I haven't seen it. I've wanted to, but like it's literally 10 hours long.
Yeah. I stayed in bed and watched it for a few days, and then just kind of like went down to my living room and plugged my speakers up to my computer and just started recording. And then like 6 months later, I had a record, and so that was that.
Oh wow.
And that was
Yeah.
Unsound Mind, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Yeah,
was-
so I actually I did want to flip that question that you had earlier about how long the quarter life Earth crisis took us back on you, because I was really curious, just like in general, like how much time you tend to spend on a song, which songs from the record were the fastest to come together, and which ones were the longest.
So I work pretty non-linearly.
Mm.
For instance, like the I think interlude wasn't completed until like everything was kind of set in stone, like the foundations were set in stone. So that's the first track. Wasn't completed until probably the week before I sent it in to be mastered.
Mm.
All the middle songs are probably completed first, like, and all well, it's about 6 months. About 6 months, all of them came together.
Wow.
I like if I get stuck on a part, I don't really know what to do. I'll just go to a different project file and just
Yeah.
start working on that instead.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's really impressive.
a lot
Yeah.
of Diet Coke helps me out.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their vices.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. The record. I don't know. I just really love so much of it. Okay, so there's a couple features on there too, and I really like the first question I had about the album before I even thought about like bringing you on, or even before I even listened to the album, is I saw Paranormal on there, and it's like, how do you swing that?
So that was
I was
actually
like-
also the one email question we got.
Really?
Yeah, it was how did you get in contact with the collaborators on the record? Because there are a lot of people who play on it.
Yeah.
And I know how hard that is to coordinate.
Wrangle.
Yeah. That was difficult. Yeah. Because there's a few people from Italy, there's a few people from Poland, from Japan, and all
Oh wow.
the thank God all of them knew English. I don't know. Paranol, I just sent him an email and I was like, hey, I love your music, just like a normal person. And that was like a year ago. And then he was like, hey, you're Hunter from Nouns. I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm a big fan. I was like, cool, I'm a big fan of you too. And now, and then we just started talking about, I think our first conversation was just about, I want to say love exposure or something, or like
Wow.
yeah, like we just started talking about movies immediately, and he's a very funny guy. But I just sent him an email. He's just a dude. He's just a dude.
Oh man, I'm so happy that it was as simple as that and stuff. Like I'd love every like question that starts that way and then entering with like, oh yeah, I just talked to him like a regular human.
I think that even among fellow musicians,
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a mystery sometimes how artists collaborate, both from across the globe and also just like in person, because there's so many different ways to collaborate on music.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times there's just kind of a lot of like mystique around that.
Yeah.
Was it just as simple as just like sending a project file back and forth, or?
Yeah. So in Paranol's case, it would have been, I gave him my rundown of like what the theme of that particular like Amida Drive was supposed to be, and he was like, do you want me to write lyrics for it? I was like, yeah, go ahead. And he's like, he sent it back, and then he's like, haha, it's in English. I fooled you. It's not in Korean at all, which made me laugh, and just ended up like that. Some of the other collaborators, it was a little more like I would send them a score, and they would send me back like, they would say like, hey, that score you sent today, I can't play that. Nobody can play that on Earth. That doesn't make any sense.
I've had so much of that.
So I had to learn how to score for humans as opposed to computer. So.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh yeah. That reminds me of like the like the story of, this is like completely random and stuff, but it feels like it might be like a interlap or whatever. Reminds me of like the story about Protest the Hero, their first record, Kazaya. Their guitarists like wrote out everything before they even rehearsed it or played it and realized that it was way too hard for them. So they just like, but instead of just rewriting it, they just like grinded and leveled up and like just made themselves that good.
God.
And that's why they're like, that's why they play like that all the time.
God damn.
Yeah, I've joked before, and this is a sentiment that I've had other people share back, but like the main way that I've improved is by being too ambitious and writing parts that are way too fucking hard for me to play.
Yeah.
And then just kind of forcing myself to get there.
I can definitely relate to that. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
The will to win.
Yeah.
I also I was also really struck by the guest vocal by your mom in there, and like has music like always just been like in the family, like did you always grow up around it or something, or did you have to kind of feel that out on your own, or yeah?
My dad is a bluegrass picker. Like he plays banjo in a bluegrass band, and he was a guitarist for a funk band my entire like
that's
childhood.
Awesome.
That's so fucking cool.
So, and at home it's weird. He's just a straight up blues guitarist, like a dude sitting on the front porch playing the blues and talking about whatever, I don't know, walking through the woods or whatever. I don't know. He's and my mom is just she's a singer. They like play and sing at their local church every Sunday.
Wow, yeah.
Always been a thing. So it was very nice to work with her. She's like super. She was very efficient. Like she came in, she's like, "What do you need me to do?" I was like, "Do this." She got it in like 2 takes, and I was stoked.
Hell yes, that rules.
and then she's like, "All right, let me hear it back." I was like, "You can't hear it back. I'm sorry." And so she didn't hear it until the record was done. But
what did she think when she got to hear it?
I don't know. I still don't know. Like I've been afraid to ask her because she thought it was going to be in a sweet part, but it's in like a horrific. Like the song itself is more like a horror story, where her voice is almost supposed to be like a taunt to me if I were the character. The character at that point, it's almost would be like it's just horrifying. So I have no idea. Like she's like all this fucking noisy shit, and then like her voice pops out of the ether. I don't fucking know what she thinks, but
yeah, I know for a fact that my family doesn't like my music. My mom likes my videos though, so I'll take it.
For anyone, okay, so for anyone that like is new to human insects or whatever, didn't listen to Podsphere and everything, it might not have come up yet, but my parents are deaf, so like
I don't know if that ever did come up.
So it's like so it's always been like kind of like funny, like they've been supportive, but like they have never ever been able to hear any of my work or anything like that. But my mom, whenever we've Pedalfold finished our EP Negatives, she asked to read the lyrics, and I was like, sure. I was like, sure, it's angry. I was like, I'm just gonna let you know. It's real pissed off stuff for the most part, but and she read it and stuff, and so funnily enough, my parents, my mom likes it because she's like, oh, you know, you're writing from a very genuine place, and you know, all that stuff. But you know, yeah, it was just funny. It's like, yeah, so you know, there's a song about how much I hate God and
Yeah.
and stuff is like
something about hospital towers, you know.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is like the healthcare crisis. There's a lot of stuff. So here's that, and then she I guess she appreciated it. But yeah, it was kind of nerve wracking showing that and being like, here's my notes document.
It's really funny because the second that I found out that you were from Arkansas, the first thing I thought was, oh shit, that's where my grandpa grew up. And I grew up going to bluegrass festivals around California with him. He would like take his RV and camp out at these festivals.
Oh my
God. Go with him as a child.
Bluegrass Burning Man.
Yeah, so I have like weirdly like a big soft spot for the genre. So that's really funny.
Me too. I try to go to. I can't hit them all. I can't hit all the big events, the bluegrass events, but I try to hit a couple with my dad every now and then.
They fucking shred.
They shred. Oh my god, they shred. Yes.
Oh my god. The only difference between bluegrass and Dragon Force is a distortion pedal.
Literally.
Literally. It's funny. I live in Tennessee. And I feel like I have the most tourist version, like exposure to bluegrass, because I think my biggest exposure is like going to Dollywood and like you just have a random bluegrass act just playing there sometimes on a certain day or whatever, but like that's not an actual like environment for that. I suppose.
I've never been because when I drive past the Dollywood signs, like if I'm going anywhere in Tennessee, I'm scared. It terrifies me. It feels like the beginning of a horror film. I don't know. It's like
they had like a thing up there for like the longest time up in Pigeon Forge. They had like a thing called the Dixie Stampede, which was like a dinner and a show thing, but for like decades it was themed around the Civil War. And like where you were seated decided if you were on the Union or the Confederates and stuff. And then like after some time, eventually on the internet, people were like, "Hey, can we all huddle for a second and talk about how this is kind of fucking weird?" And then like I think recently, like I want to say like 2017-ish or something, they were like, okay, yeah, we cut it out and stuff. And then now it's like themed differently, but they still have like a dinner and a show thing. You get like just a horrible whole chicken that they, in like that type of meal. It's just terrible food.
Like the fucking like what is it? Fucking medieval times where they just give you
it's exactly it's exactly like medieval times. It's medieval times. It's medieval times, except it's the war for people's rights to own slaves. So cool.
Yeah, great awesome.
Great idea. I went there one time when I was a kid for like a Boy Scouts trip or something. It's so stupid.
To medieval times.
No, to the fucking to Dolly to the.
I was gonna say, like, what are they
thing.
trying to impart on you? Like, don't worry, kids. Everyone that you're playing tonight will eventually die of bubonic plague, statistically speaking.
I actually think Dolly cornered the market here, because I don't think I've ever seen a medieval times in person.
Holy shit.
Ever. I don't think we've never. Yeah.
Oh fuck. Okay. Sorry, hard reset. I just remembered, and I don't want this to slip my mind. The Rate Your Music page for Nouns has like a really extensive history of the band. Is it all fake? Wait, why did you react that way?
No one's ever asked me about it. That was a joke between Kyle and I.
Okay, I thought so.
We wanted to write like the longest fucking most mundane.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh my god, that's so
because
good.
I was gonna say, like, I was reading it and I was like, okay,
it just
cool,
keeps going.
And then you mentioned that you hired like a conceptual. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my god, this is
because when we had Adam on,
I was going to bring that up.
He mentioned that on the Rate Your Music page for fucking
Me and Capri's.
Me and Capri's, there was a while where they had an upcoming release titled "End Justice for Malls" on there that wasn't real.
That's
Yeah,
good.
He was like, we've never been making that album. It was so good. Oh man, I love how much just fucking fake horse shit is on Rate Your Music clearly.
There was some guy from Korea named, I don't know, John or something. He credited himself as like, I guess, the core songwriter for all of Noun's discography. And I didn't really try to dispute it because I thought it was funny. It's
Holy
just
shit.
some guy.
That's amazing.
Oh my god, I'm gonna take that energy and stuff when people start lying about me on there. It's gonna happen soon. Eventually.
I mean, we've joked really early on about just like lying and saying that we had like somebody feature on a Burned In track that clearly didn't. But that's more channeling like the like Soulja Boy uploading his own songs to LimeWire.
Yeah. Also, The Armed has a song called featuring Frank Turner, and
right.
And it emphatically does not feature Frank Turner, and he was pissed about it. Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That's Zach, the person that mastered Well of Unsound Mind, is the sort of staple sound engineer for The Armed. He's the one that reins it all in.
Yeah, I actually noticed because I noticed that the record was mastered with God City.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was extremely cool.
That's really funny because the first episode of Pod Spirit, the previous incarnation of this podcast, did feature a very lengthy discussion about The Armed. Because it was in that weird halfway point where they were still kind of anonymous.
Yeah, right. and they were like teasing their new album, so like the ARG was on, and people were just trying to figure him out and suss him out. It's like how much of this is a lie, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to fucking be in The Armed. Put me in, coach.
Get
me a new name.
I'll let you know who to talk to and stuff, because we're already in there, me and Hazel.
Wow.
I know it's we're already in. We're on their rigorous body workout plan.
Yeah, we get on each other's shoulders and put on a trench coat, and we're what is his name? Clark Huge.
Clark Huge.
Yeah, Clark Huge.
Yeah, that's us.
We play the synths. Yeah.
The largest dude plays the synths. I love it.
And it's just this muscle-bound, enormous fucking guy called Clark Huge. It's such a good bit. But the God City thing. I don't know. At least for me, it like immediately signified, oh, this is cool. So I don't know. I think I have that still, I revere Converge so much that literally anything associated with Kurt Ballou or whatever, it's almost like a selling point thing. It's like, oh, this was at God City. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've wanted that for. I would like to go and record there physically. It would just take a lot of money, but I've wanted to work with God City for some time, and just because Kurt Ballou, I watch all of his fucking. If you go to creativelive.org or whatever the fuck it is, he has a big ass seminar on how to record things, and I didn't retain much, but it seemed cool. I learned a few things. He's an idol of mine, but so I went to God City's page, and then I saw Zach Weeks is working on it. I'm like, I know that guy. He was in this band called Love Child, which is a Boston hardcore band from I think 2010 or so. And he was also in Cersei, which is a fucking powerful screamo band, just super powerful. And I was like, I'm gonna work with Zach. That guy seems cool, and he was awesome. He got it. I was afraid when I sent in the files, he was gonna be like, yeah, this is. But he was excited. It was cool.
That's so sick. I feel like I've had anxiety about just even the idea of that, because everything I've ever done, and Hazel as well, and everything has all just been like pretty in-house.
Yeah,
like
I've never had
personal.
somebody I didn't know personally touch my music.
Yeah,
So for
yeah.
paying like a guy some money to record some trumpet on a song that never actually got released.
Yeah, so like it's always been like a source of anxiety for me, but I know that like if I found like someone like I vibed with and like was perfect, you know, it'd be like a godsend because like
I'm fucking
me
sick of
and
mixing my shit. No, that's not true.
This is my first time trying to get anybody else outside of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I still mix it because I'm like everything has to be placed properly in the pan.
I'm the same exact way. I'm kind of insufferable to work with on that front. Oh my goodness.
Bless you. Bless you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
You good?
Yeah, I've got a tickle in my throat.
Yeah, that Splatoon 3 final boss is coming back for more.
Yeah.
Biological.
For the listeners at home, I fucking delayed the recording of this podcast because I got caught in the final level of Splatoon 3, and I had to finish it because I couldn't back out and lose all my progress.
That's no good.
No.
And we can't spoil what the final boss was, but
no.
Wow.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good story. Yeah.
Sounded awesome.
So you Hunter, you said that you're Nicky's age, right? You're born in 95?
94. I'm just 1 year. 1 year.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So then we're 3 straight years. Yeah, we're a gradient.
Yeah. What's your sign?
Taurus.
Fuck. My wife's a Taurus, so that counts.
Virgo and Taurus are supposed to be very
Virgos
good together.
Are compatible.
Right?
Yeah. There you go.
Do we believe in that? Are we what's your Myers-Briggs, everybody? Hello?
I never remember mine offhand is the thing. I've taken the test a billion fucking times and it's always the same thing.
I never remember
dig through a conversation that I've had with a friend of mine who's like a huge MBTI truther, but a podcast to record.
Do you guys believe in ghosts?
I wish. I've said this for years. I really wish.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where I stand on it. Because I totally, I don't know. Maybe it is one. Maybe it is an I wish thing or whatever. I've never seen one either, but like I don't know. I just I feel like my perspective is only so much, so I'm like, it's probably like I don't know. It could happen, probably, sure. You know, yeah. I'm never too like definitive on any one thing. I guess pretty agnostic, pretty chill. With just like it could be.
Spooky
could be any amount of things
is coming up, so now's the time if you want to get into it, or cryptid hunting.
Oh yeah,
you guys have a favorite cryptid? Yeah. Mine's the Jersey Devil, always will be.
Mine is the Flatwoods Monster.
I know.
God damn it.
I noticed.
Yeah. I keep fucking forgetting. I can't keep my shit straight.
Your trivia is not a surprise anymore.
Yeah.
It's
but it's either that or I say out loud, "Nah, you've probably seen my video," and that's
way worse.
That's a horrific thing to say.
You should record yourself saying that and put it on like a soundboard and just.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have a favorite cryptid. I never really looked too much into cryptid. I like oh, you know what though? Oh shit, I wish I had it on hand. There's that video.
There's the Yeti?
There's that video of like the thing that looks exactly like a Yeti that's like falling down like a hill, just like
when I had the chance.
To like some Christmas music or whatever. I'm sure if you go in our server over here and you just search up Yeti, you'll probably find it really fast.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
But to detour, the reason why I asked your age is because I was doing the math on when some of your first releases came out. I was like, fuck, like you were putting out those records super young. That's really impressive.
The first records that I would consider official nouns releases came out in 2007.
Whoa.
Yeah, so like everyone thinks that
Whoa! Oh
Still Bummed
shit!
was the first record, but it's not. There were two
Right.
before it, and one of them was a concept record about a sailor that gets lost at sea. I'm sorry, I listened to it recently. It was really bad, but I think it was early 2007, so I think I was 12 or so.
That's amazing.
I
When did you first pick up an instrument?
Around the same age, around
That's
11.
awesome. That's awesome.
It was we were talking about AMVs the other day, right? Like it was kind
Right,
of born
right,
out of that. Was I realized that on Windows Movie Maker you could just splice audio together, so I started to make like
right.
edits of like Linkin Park songs mixed together, and from there I started to like take instrumental parts of songs and sing over them and show them to kids at school and be like, "This is my band," and they were like, "This obviously is not your band." I was like, "Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry." um, and then decided to pick up Audacity, and yeah, oh man, it was
You started with Audacity. That's wild.
yeah,
I
Audacity
was
to
a
Logic.
I was kind of a late bloomer. I didn't pick up a guitar until 17.
Mm.
Um, and some of my first recordings were done in fucking Sony Vegas.
yes.
That was what I knew.
Basically, the origin story of me getting into music is that two of my friends who are still the drummer and guitarist I work with today, they were discussing something to cover for the talent show, and it was like 8th grade. So it's like 2008, and they're discussing something to cover at the talent show, and I was like, I didn't want to be left out, so I was like, I could sing. And so I just like forced myself to learn how to sing stuff, and I wasn't good, and I didn't get good until like a good bit later. But it's just me like pushing myself into a friend dynamic thing because I was just like, well, I don't want to be left out of this, and then I got way into it. And yeah, we were like recording stuff on Reaper and stuff. Like, I really wish like my old high school metal band like was ever able to like record stuff like down. We never really got around to it, but I was like writing, like I was listening to like way too much like Between the Buried and Me, and like writing stuff about like time travel and shit that I had like
That's awesome.
no
That's
like
so
actual like
That was your
you know.
that was your Sailor Lost at Sea.
Yeah,
Berserk.
exactly. Yeah, so that yeah, that resonated with me. I was like, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
That's
Writing about car crashes I've never been in, and be like, yeah, dude, like time travel,
that's
yada yada.
the story that
Yeah.
I wish I had.
So in the liner notes, you outline Mall of Unsound Mind as a concept record. Are you interested at all in talking about that?
I thought about that for a while because
Yeah.
uh
Because I know sometimes it's more fun to just kind of leave that up to other people.
well
Yeah.
that was the thing is I was going back in time in my brain. I was like, oh, the first time I listened to like 3 by Coheed and Cambria, and I was like, before I ever read the actual like what the story was about, piecing it together, just like listening on a repeat and trying to piece it together and like imagine my own characters and put them in those situations was infinitely like way more fun than
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
way
definitely.
cooler. Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
yeah. So I think I'll leave it at that then, because it's
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was
really
thinking
cool.
about that
Yeah.
in terms of you kind of I won't say let slip, but you mentioned a few songs in particular that were pretty directly inspired by different pieces of media. I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I'm so curious how that fits into like a broader concept.
Yeah.
So I guess instead of just telling you to explain the plot to us or whatever, I will reframe that slightly and ask how, from like a like musical compositional production perspective, you approach a concept record.
I do a lot of audio recordings on my iPhone of me. I'll play like a riff and then explain something for like 3 minutes to myself, and then I listen to those back and tie it all together to make refrains or like motifs or whatever.
Right.
There are recurring motifs on this one from Lonely Place of Dying.
Yeah.
And there's motifs from that one from the previous record. So uh, I I pretty much just built a little bank of like references on my phone, and then just kind of it's pretty easy actually. I don't there's nothing mystical about it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
No, I totally feel you. Like, as a lyricist, I feel like I always have like a Rolodex of like
right.
phrases, like
Yeah.
and metaphors that I just pull back all the time, and so kind of make it. It just inherently creates like this big weaving thing or whatever across some of my stuff that, like, you know, it wasn't exactly hard or like really even calculated. It was just like, if this works, I'll just use it here.
Yeah.
You know.
There's
Uh,
I want to, well, on this one I wanted to break away from playing too many major chords. So I guess a lot of the process of composing on this one was Googling like chord charts and like trying to find
Yeah.
chords that sounded spooky or something.
Yeah. That was actually really similar to what it was like recording Incomplete Thought for Burned In. It was a lot of like, how can I differentiate this from Twinkle Park from like a compositional perspective? And a lot of that was just like, I just need to not write things that sound too poppy, because like no matter what I do, like I always fall back on like the kind of harmonic like sound of pop music.
Yeah.
And even now with the stuff that I'm working on for my own solo project, I'm kind of trying to break away from that, but it's hard. I don't know how those fucking mathcore dudes just kind of bust out these really cranked sounding chords from thin air. It's a really delicate balance between like fucked up but not too fucked up.
It's a really astounding thing to watch, just like being in the same room with my friend Ryan and just having him just like play a riff, and I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
And so it's like just some of the shit he'd whip out for pedalful. I'm like, this is fucking demented.
Yeah, because like without fail, whenever I pick up a guitar, like the first shape I wind up gravitating to, if it's in standard, is just a fucking major 7.
Yeah,
like I'm constantly on major 7s. It's like a huge like not like a crutch per se, but like the preoccupation.
Friends get pretty annoyed with me because if it's in standard, I immediately just detune it to drop D, and just
yeah.
I gotta ask you, and so like there's a lot of the song titles are some pretty sweet references, some stuff I just didn't even know either, like Coma Wall Zone and stuff like that, where I'm just like, oh no, these they just scan to me as cool titles. But the one that really stuck out to me, because I'm a big tokusatsu head, is Sentai Quarry.
That's such a good name.
And I just was so like, it was like, this is one of my people.
That's one of the few I think that doesn't necessarily even tie into the like the concept, but it was a running joke between my friend Zach and I. Like, we were watching Jetman together, and like, oh, we're back at the fucking quarry. Like,
my mental image was like the fucking Red Man quarry.
Yeah, Red Man. Everybody shoots in that quarry, man. Yeah.
I love
and
it.
Red Man is like scary, so it fits.
But yeah, I was like so stoked when I saw that song name. I was like, here we are. Yeah, that's cool that you watch Jetman though. That's kind of like a big landmark show.
I kept noticing when I was watching it that it seemed like it took influence from like Obayashi, like House or something.
Oh yeah,
like it just uses a lot of weird little.
Did Jisoji work on Jetman, or
no? Jisoji was only an Ultraman, but
okay, because I was gonna say, I feel like he like graduated into making freakazoid pornography at that point.
I will say, like, experimental filmmakers and tokusatsu really go like hand in hand. Where like a lot of those guys will both like gravitate toward tokusatsu, or they'll come from tokusatsu and just do wild shit and stuff. Takashi Miike directed a bunch of Ultraman. The early, like the first 13 episodes of Kamen Rider are like some of the most influential filmmaking of the 70s in Japan, just because it's like completely cracked. Like it is just the most insane, like looking like horror stuff. Like that's also like still trying to like work within like television broadcast standards. So like you'll have someone die, like a graphic death, but like as soon as like the hit like will connect, it'll like the shot will change to a different shot, and it's like someone like it's like a screen with a light behind it, and then just someone just like spilling a bunch of like beads like all over
fucking
the screen.
crazy.
And
What?
It's like
Jesus.
Yeah, there's also
you and Wyatt gotta hit me with those episode lists for that and Ultraman.
Yeah,
I gotta sit down with this shit. I gotta get under my waterfall.
Yeah, there's an episode of Ultraman that also, of Kamen Rider that also like ends with like this is all in the first 13 too, because they make it a much more regular show after that. But like there's also another episode that like in the ending fight, like he punches at the camera and the lens breaks, like it shatters and they keep it in. It's just like the lens is just completely shattered and stuff, and it's just like still they just kept it in the fucking show. It's just the coolest stuff ever. So yeah, like there's this stuff flowing in and out of that all the time. I less so now because it's a little bit more corporate, but like still cool stuff because the lineage is there. So I totally see the Obayashi comparison.
Now
Yeah.
they film everything since the pandemic. Like the pandemic versions of Sentai are fucking hilarious because they just shoot it in their fucking parking lot, the Toei parking lot.
Yeah. It's like always it's like a parking lot. There's like a plaza or whatever.
A little plaza with a little stair, like a small staircase. I will definitely check out Geet. I'm looking at it currently. I will check out Geets when I'm not on the Shuzo Oshimi train.
Yeah.
What do you?
You
mentioned that you're watching
Big Dog
Hana, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, I got like 3 episodes in, and then I dipped out. I'll pick it back up, but
Yeah.
I think I'm on chapter like 100 of Blood on the Tracks. I've finished
Oh
Hana.
shit.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty frightened. Blood on the Tracks. Oh my god! Like something about
That
the
shit
art
is-
style is I love it.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's fucking it's mortifying, that manga. It's the kind of terrifying where like every time something good happens, you're like shaking. You're like, no, because you just know. Like there's an ebb and flow to it, but like it's all just like nerve wracking.
Yeah.
It's
I've joked
probably
to
one of the best
Nicky
manga ever made.
that I refuse to touch it until it's finished. So I could wait until like 9 p.m. and then get extremely fucking wired and then blast noise music as loud as I can and read through it in one sitting and see if my heart explodes by the end.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I was listening to this extreme like noise project by one of the guys in Endon, that Japanese like
I love Endon.
metal.
Yeah.
Endon is so good.
I love
Shouts out my
Endon.
friend Bleach for showing me Endon. But I was listening to a noise project by one of those guys while I was reading Blood on the Tracks, and it was like, yeah, this is ruining my day. but this is I'm having a good time. This is ruining my fucking whole week. Like
It scratches such an itch, and it's not even just Blood on the Tracks, but like Happiness or Welcome Back Alice or whatever. Or Welcome Home Alice. I don't know.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
whatever
the
it
English
is.
title.
It's scratching an itch of like the sleaziness that I got from when I was a little kid, like reading Psychic Academy or like any of like just like the more scummy Tokyo Pop releases.
right,
Just
yeah.
the like there were parts in it that just like my little 12-year-old brain is like it scratches that itch.
I shouldn't be reading this.
I shouldn't be. Yeah, it scratches that itch and also scratches the itch of like, oh my god, I'm mortified. I'm a human. This is terrible. I don't know what's happening. So
Yeah,
I'm
I feel
enjoying
like a really important experience for me was a few years ago. I was going through like a really bad rough patch, and then I read Aku no Hana for the first time, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I should reread and actually finish for the first time Onani Master Kurosawa. And that back to back was really wild. Definitely kind of exactly what you mean about it being like just that certain level of scummy that kind of like makes the heart shine even brighter.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh
I've also been reading Akane Banashi, which is the polar opposite.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
oh man, I'm so stoked. People are digging it. It's like such a good manga. Yeah.
Well, I heard about it from you guys last
Right.
watching. I mean, you got, just keep making content. I'll check it out. I'll check out this. But no, I love it. I fucking love it. It's I get what you're saying about it taking the spot of a sport manga.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
gives
that
me
was
that
such
feeling.
an elevated take.
I love that take. It gives me that feeling of like, fuck yeah. Like every time anybody accomplishes anything, it gives me that. It kind of it's
yeah,
my go-to
it gets
right
you
now.
fired up.
It gets me fired up. Yeah. I'm fucking ready to take on the day when I read that manga. I was really surprised about the Ano endorsement and the Oda endorsement.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
Ano endorsing it was like really insane. I was like, what? I didn't even know he read stuff anymore.
I didn't know he could read.
In Jump. Yeah. I had no idea. Yeah, that stuff is really good. I've been reading Black Clover. I've been like on the slide trying to like catch up because I've that's a manga I've kind of dismissed for a long time. I was like, it's it's whatever. It's just like a Naruto ripoff thing. But the elevated thing is that it's not really so much a Naruto ripoff. Like it seems that way at the beginning, but it's more so like ripping off like Dragon Quest Adventure of Dai and like with sprinkles, like, and I mean sprinkles of like Berserk. It's getting interesting. I've been told it gets really good, and I think I'm in the getting really good part, but
What
it's
chapter
not
is that?
completely. I'm like, yeah, like I'll let her tell you what chapter I'm on. Right, I'm on chapter 80 right now.
It's getting good at chapter 80.
Okay, hold on. All right,
Weekly chapters are different though.
They are different. It began to, like okay, the goodness and the some of the interesting stuff cropped up like at the very beginning, but it was like waiting to see like it like start to get followed up on, and like now I'm seeing it like, okay, this is where they're going. And this is kind of cool, but I'm not exactly even trying to like recommend it or endorse it really so much. Just saying, I'm reading this. I'm interested. I'm taking a look at it because I'd rather catch up with this than catch up with My Hero Academia, which I've heard almost zero good things about where it's gone lately. So, like, I don't think anyone that I know that's reading it currently enjoys their time reading My Hero Academia right now. Like I think it's like a total bag fumble from what it seems.
You guys mentioned that My Hero was one of the two, I think, that One Piece and My Hero are like the last of like an old era, sort of.
A little bit, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you what you meant by that, because I've been thinking about that like all week. Just
well, I'm thinking about I think when I think about that, I think of Big Three. You know what people mean by that? By like the sort of formulaic like action manga. Like, okay, you need to have an exuberant like rival. You need to have like an exuberant main character, and then you need to have a rival who's like kind of a mean guy, or you kind of reverse that or something, and then you like set it in this like kind of I don't know, the setting where there's like a bunch of different teams, and I think the biggest thing to me that kind of shows like, because I think Black Clover kind of falls into this as well, is that like whenever there's like a section that like you're being introduced to like 40 characters at once, and it's like, yeah, like you got the Chunin exams in Naruto. There's this like you just get all those side characters and stuff, and then like so now all of a sudden you're going from following like 3 main characters to following like 50 of them, and there's like all these different like one-on-one fights and stuff. I think a lot of that is something that Jump is like, and I'm talking about Jump specifically. I had someone kind of jump on me about in the comments of one of those episodes about like sports manga and stuff, and being like, you forgot about Blue Lock, and it's like, well, I'm talking about like I'm talking about just Jump because it's the one with the app that like is easy to read every week. So
I have it on my phone.
I got it on my phone, man. I like I can read it readily. But a lot of the stuff that's been coming out very recently seems like it's kind of trying to get away from that. And so that's kind of what I mean is just like stuff that's like, I don't know, it feels like we're coming to a close on stuff that feels like Naruto or Bleach and like has to be so many volumes long or whatever, and like is like, I don't know, kind of this thing that like runs its course. I think One Piece has always been a little bit outside of that because One Piece has never had like there's never like a pirate school or anything like that, like, you know, or like a tournament arc really and stuff. So like, but it still kind of is just by virtue of being so big in the time that it was out. I don't know. Does that
It does
make sense?
It does, but it has to be. If we're talking about Bleach, it has to be pre-Soul Society Bleach, because I feel like it's 2 separate series, almost like.
You're right. You're right. I think Bleach is like 4 different manga in one. It's like there's the manga everybody wants it to be, which is like the very beginning of it, and then like I would say Fullbring seems like it's kind of that stuff where it's like you're in the city and there's like, you know, like you've got like
he's got to track down the ghost, like the spirits.
These more like just Yu Yu Hakusho type stuff.
Yeah,
and then you have what it actually is, which is the Soul Society. Everybody's in kimonos and like big old swords and stuff.
God, that must have been like 100 episodes or 100 issues. Like it was so long.
Yeah, and then like the Aizen stuff and the Arankar stuff, which is like totally like just like off the rails, like, I don't know, just like everybody's fighting in a desert for a really long time, and then everybody's fighting in the city for a really long time, but they're all like in the sky because Tite Kubo clearly doesn't want to draw backgrounds, so he's just like, forget it. They're just gonna be either in the desert or in the sky.
You fucking everybody fucking lauds Akira Toriyama for the same shit.
It's true.
She's guilty of it too.
It's true. I'm just saying what it is. I'm not even saying that it's a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. Like that is how it unfolded. But because I respect the hustle, because manga is fucking hard and they work you too fucking hard over there. So, you know what? If you're just going to turn in a bunch of pages with white backgrounds, you better fucking do it and you know, and just have fun with it and do it on your own terms. You know, and I hope Yoshihiro Togashi is out there doing well, my king. But yeah, but Bleach is like several different types of things. Like, again, it's not like a neat like classification and stuff, because I don't really think One Piece really fits into it too much either. But it just feels like everything in Jump lately has really wanted to get in there and get out, and then not really like take too much time, and they've wanted to be kind of, and by virtue it kind of makes them a little bit more like dangerous or daring with some of their like story shifts and stuff, because like Jujutsu Kaisen kind of feels like it's in a different breed, because it just like moves and just goes like crazy. Even though it functionally is pretty similar to Bleach or Naruto, it just doesn't really act that way. and I don't know. I just think especially post like Demon Slayer making $1 million billion bajillion dollars and like only being like 20 volumes or whatever. I think it's changed a lot of minds about like what a successful Shonen Jump manga looks like. So
It's so
I don't know.
weird.
You've just got a bunch of stuff.
Growing up, like the big three were of course like what Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and Bleach. I'm guessing, and One Piece
Right.
kind of like snuck its way in there. But growing up, nobody was like a huge One Piece fan. Nobody like.
Oh yeah.
And
Trust me, I know.
aw.
Oh no, yeah. I got I had the first couple volumes of manga growing up when I was like really attached to them. I never watched the anime, so Four Kids really like was a bane of my existence. I was like, it's not like that, and nobody believed me.
God, Four Kids. That
But
was my first experience with
a
that
lot
level
of people's.
that level of
Yeah.
censorship. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh too though. Yu-Gi-Oh did not get off like Yu-Gi-Oh got it pretty bad too. It just people were down with the exact way that Yu-Gi-Oh was like really goofy.
Yeah, I think it
And
was
stuff.
a little easier to not notice with Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think I ever noticed that they like airbrushed out the guns and shit.
Yeah, right.
But I was also like an idiot child who didn't know
Yeah.
anything.
I am of the mind though that like the big three is kind of like a very like it doesn't really exist anymore.
Mhm.
Like it's a very specific time and place in Japan with like Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece running all at the same time. Because like Dragon Ball was like that ended in 95 in Japan. So it was like a totally like it was already that was ancient history by the time those came out. So like practically. So like so Dragon Ball I think gets kind of conflated in there over here because of Toonami and because it running at the same time as everything else, which is almost unfair because Dragon Ball is just like so classically like obviously like great and influential that like it's kind of embarrassing to to put like more modern stuff that takes after it right next to it and stuff because it's just like well fucking Dragon Ball's right there like like Vegeta's cool. Everybody loves Piccolo.
What would the big
Did
three
you-
of shoujo be? Like Sailor
Shoujo?
Moon, Sailor
Oh my
Moon,
God.
Card Captor, Sakura.
Sailor Moon. Fuck.
It's tough. I was thinking of that in the context of Josei, and I would consider like Nana up there, but
Yeah.
I don't
yeah,
even-
definitely.
Nana's
Nana,
eternal.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like the big crossover. I'd say maybe like fuck. I mean, I was gonna say Nana and then Paradise Kiss, but that's cheating.
I mean, it's not to be cheap.
Well, Paradise Kiss is also Ai Yazawa, so like maybe it's like Nana, Princess Jellyfish, and fuck, I'm not sure. Because like I know that there's kind of a distinct golden age for Josei in my mind, but that was all pretty countercultural stuff. Like Kyoko Okazaki and Minami Kyuta kind of like unsung a little bit.
I need to read a lot more of that stuff. I need to pull the trigger on it and just buy Pink and like
it's the best
some
comic of all
Okazaki
time.
stuff. Yeah. I've had it in my Bright Stuff cart for like way too long. And I'm just like I just need to just do it. I like I don't know. I have a lot of blind spots. I like it's for me.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
do
it's
I.
for me. It's a lot of like it's having like an encyclopedic knowledge of one magazine and then a bunch of 60s manga that I think is like sick and fucking cool, you know, and
Yeah.
like just but
Why?
Yeah.
Why
Oh.
human insects? Why do we name the podcast that?
Because we both read the Book of Human Insects and thought it was like just extremely cool and like it's like about art, you know, and about being an artist in a way that's not like super direct, but like it just speaks to a lot of that in a lot of ways that we thought was really interesting. And it sounded cool when I suggested it as a name, so we were like, let's go. I did want to mention to you, Hazel, I'm not gonna I'm gonna move on from naming the spot outright because it's a new podcast.
Smart thinking,
but the one Discord we used to hang out in a lot and stuff. I've noticed a trend in their thread about manga that people have been picking up the Book of Human Insects a lot. Like we've started a trend of picking up that manga. Like it was 1000% us. We did
makes
it. Like,
me wonder.
Yeah, makes you wonder. But yeah, so we're just doing we're just doing an ad campaign for Tezuka, pretty much. Is this
the guy really needs it,
He really needs it.
Support local business.
Yeah, the god of manga, he might need another extra couple bucks. But yeah.
Have you guys read Pluto?
I've not.
No,
I've wanted to.
You know what? Every single time I've tried to read a Naoki Urasawa manga, I've bounced off of it.
No.
I know. Friendship ended.
No, it's like every one of my friends is like that too. They're like, yeah, that was really good, and then it was like kind of boring, and I'm like heartbroken because 20th Century Boys and Billy Bat and Pluto are like my top 3. Like I love them, but yeah. I tried to turn some people into Monster, and they watched the anime, which is like probably one of my least favorite, like as far as execution goes. It's so stilted.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the animation very much. It just works really well on a page and not so much.
Yeah.
And everyone has gotten back to me like, yeah, I just had to stop because it was so boring. And I'm hurting over here. I need some Naki love.
I'm definitely going to eventually. Like it's going to happen without fail. Like the guy's just too important for me not to. I just kind of need to sit down and force myself to.
I have like the weirdest relationship with Urasawa, where like I really really like his work, but I've only ever read like the first like 8 volumes or whatever of Billy Bat and been like, that shit was insane, and haven't finished it. And I haven't read Monster or any of that other stuff. I've been meaning to for like the longest time. With Pluto specifically, I really really want to read it, but I have these like brain worms that tell me like, no, but like, what if you just read Astro Boy first and then
it is the
I
best.
know it's silly,
like love letter for Astro Boy. It's very solid. Especially if you do read like the Pluto arc of Astro Boy first or whatever right after, and just compare and contrast. It is just it's and he doesn't do like in all of his other manga. He has a penchant for really, really stupid cliffhangers every chapter. Which I'm here for. I love it. But it's a little Scooby-Doo. He doesn't do that as much in Pluto. So it's a little concise. You can finish it in an afternoon, and
Yeah.
Finish it in an afternoon?
It's like 8 volumes. Well, maybe 2 afternoons. Two afternoons.
Yeah. Okay.
Two healthy afternoons.
I'm a pretty slow reader, so
yeah.
I always kind of have to mentally double that. 4 afternoons.
4 afternoons.
It depends for me. Sometimes I'm able to just fucking eat up some manga, and then sometimes it like really, really like is like a struggle. And stuff. Even though I like something,
it doesn't even equate to how much I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. There's exactly
just certain
what I'm
things
saying.
that have kind of like a narrative loop to them that I find really engaging and compelling. And then there are other times where I just kind of don't have as much to grab onto, and reading through it is a little bit of a struggle.
Even like just the specific like density of dialogue to like page and stuff, like sometimes can really throw off my game for like just speeding through something or finding something like just captivating and I can't stop reading. Last night I actually did have to like kind of rip myself away from some Black Clover and stuff where I was like, oh man, this is like really, I'm just popping these chapters and stuff. But then like I took like a whole like month and a half or something to catch up with like Undead Unluck, and that series is only like 100 chapters long, and like okay, well you're talking to the guy who like
no, I know
like I've read One Piece twice. Like, you know, like but
twice. Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm on chapter 30, and I'm on episode 242.
I read it. I read it through for the first time and caught up in like 2010 when it was like 500 something chapters. And then I reread it all whenever it was like 700 something, 800 chapters. And now it's like 1,000, of like 1,060 something. And I'm considering going in for the third. I'm like, I need to analyze. I need to take a closer look at things. But yeah, it's just, I just like reading manga. I had a really good time catching up with Berserk. That was great.
That took me that shit literally took me like a year and a half.
I chopped that up in a couple months.
Yeah.
But
it was so much fun while you were fucking catching up on that comic. That was a great time for me to revisit the series without having to spend another year reading it.
Yeah, but rest in peace, Mira. I read it. I've caught up at like the worst time. Like I caught up, and then like 2-3 weeks later, he passed, and I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I just got here." You know, like so it was kind of like a really raw moment for me there because I don't know. I just felt like
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I just got to know the guy almost, you know.
I got home from work and my roommates were out in the living room and they were just kind of going about their business, but they just kind of looked kind of glum.
Oh.
And the news hit and they were like, "Yeah, we know." Like the news hit me. I mean,
yeah.
Like Berserk?
Yeah, I'm in it right now. Okay, I'm in the first deluxe edition. I have been for about a month.
Nice.
The fourth one came in today. Now I have my beef with it. I have a little beef. Is that the art is so good that I'm distracted from the story. Like sometimes I'll go pages where I'm like, I don't know what's happening, and I have to reread them to get the text because I'm so distracted by the fantastic art. There's so much detail. I watched when did it come out? 96, 97? I watched that version of Berserk in 2016. So I don't necessarily remember all the plot, the story beats with Griffith or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's there somewhere. I remember I turned it on because Dark Souls, I love it. And it is Dark Souls, the book. So.
Oh, yeah.
Gratifying for me as somebody who loves the aesthetic of Dark Souls but doesn't actually enjoy playing them at all. I was like, okay, cool, I can just read this.
It's so cool because like every couple chapters you get you see a new thing that like that Dark Souls ripped off of Berserk, like like randomly, like
a suit
I
of
think
armor.
It's like the suit of armor, but then like I think like it's got to be like 15 volumes in or something like that. You get the big old skull like wheel guys just show up, and it's just like it's just literally like they were from Dark Souls in Berserk. And it's like holy fuck, like they literally just took that one by one, like 1-to-1, and just like took it from this manga and stuff. Like, but it was kind of surreal reading it after Dark Souls and being like, oh my god, it's that enemy that's extremely annoying. And like,
it's really like hearing people who are familiar with like the anime or other adaptations of Berserk who are going into the manga, because so much of the discussion around that series is the Golden Age arc. But for me, for my money, literally everything that comes out after it is exponentially better.
Yeah. It's all about Millennium Empire, dude. Yeah. It's all about Millennium Empire.
See, I don't even know what that is. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Oh,
That's fucking great.
you'll get there, and it'll be awesome. It'll
Yeah.
like this be great.
If I don't see Guts and Griffith kiss, I'm pissed off.
God, what I've been wondering though. This is totally off the manga discussion. As much as I love it, but I have been wondering, like what kind of stuff are you listening to like lately? Like I just I was gonna like if you went to your Spotify, what would you find?
200 Stab Wounds, the death metal band for sure.
Oh hell yeah!
And Gulch, which is like, they look like they're from Boston.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that really like Gulch.
I've just been listening to like meathead sort of stuff. 200 Stab Wounds is actually, I think it's really well composed. Like, it's just good death metal. Honestly, it's tight. Other than that, Motomami by Rosalia, the pop record. It's like a bachata pop record. The Weeknd had a feature on it. I like that a lot. I've been listening to Twinkle Park and Pedal Fault, obviously.
Oh hell yeah!
Which
hell yeah!
I already knew what Twinkle Park was because anyway. Let's see. That's kind of it. Like I don't listen to music too often.
Right.
Yeah.
I play a lot of Tekken, and I need quiet for that.
That's interesting. I feel like I've had a conversation with some people I've worked with, my friend Ryan and stuff. He'll sometimes he'll go through bouts of just like not listening to much music at all.
Yeah.
And it kind of like recenters him. So whenever he works on his own stuff, it's all like just from the dome. Like it's not him remembering something or whatever, which I think is interesting. But like it also technically kind of always is him remembering something. It's just like this weird like, I don't know, like artifacted version of it. So it kind of just becomes his own thing anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like
I think that's
it's
literally like no matter how you cut it, I feel like most musicians are operating that way. I think especially people around our age and younger, because there's just so much fucking music that
it's
everything that you can do with those 12 notes has been done before, and so we're just kind of remixing them and kind of pushing them in different directions in a new context.
It's a really interesting spot to be in, I think, being a musician at our age. I think right now, so just because like it's just like I don't know, it kind of feels like a post history that like state that we're in, where it's like, well, rock music has had its beginning.
That's why they call it post-modernity.
I suppose so. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It feels like rock music has had a beginning, middle, and end, and now we're all just taking everything cool from all of it and just like
and outside of it.
Just contorting it into our own like little twisted collage.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like Nicky brought this up before, like I do certain lines like almost like Eugene S. Robinson or whatever. Like that's definitely like I'm taking that out of the hat, right? Like I'm picking that out of the hat. I'm like, I'm gonna do this like Eugene or whatever. Hearing myself do like an impression of Eugene S. Robinson makes me wince. It makes me so upset. But it's how I want like certain parts to be. So it has to be that way, right? But it's weird.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah. I totally get like how that would make you feel and everything. I will say, like, for me, like a lot of those parts are some of my favorite parts on the record, because I'm just like, oh, thank God. Like because it feels like I've only ever been able to get that sort of sound like from just like only Oxbow, right? And so it's like, oh, like someone else is at least like pulling from this. Like Oxbow is like a special band for me, because I think I got into them pretty late. Like I don't know when you got into them, but Thin Black Duke, when that dropped, I heard about it and I was like, I've never heard of this band before. And I heard it and it was like just one of the most special things I'd ever heard. I was like, I can't believe this exists.
Yeah, it's my favorite record, period.
Yeah.
Like I think it's the best composed rock album of all time. I love it. Just and I've probably listened to it
I listened to it for the first time today, and I literally was refraining from telling Nikki I think this is the best rock record that anybody's ever.
They worked on it for 7 years.
It's made me cry.
Yeah. Nico. Yeah. I actually bought the last copy of the Thin Black Book, which is it costs I don't even say, but it talks a little bit about the production, and Nico, the composer and guitarist, talks about trying to rein in Eugene and get his vocals to actually match a fucking melody, and he said like most of the record's production was him editing together clips of Eugene saying words, trying to get something that was cohesive and made sense for the songs.
That's so good. But I don't know, being a fan of Oxbow, I think now and stuff, and being someone that it's been kind of lonely. Where I don't really know anyone that's ever shared that enthusiasm for that record, because I think it's just fucking the most beautiful. It's my favorite record at easily of that decade. And then
I've heard it get referred to as butt rock.
Also, that's
yeah,
true insanity.
It makes me so sad.
It's purely because of certain riffs and the fact that they're mistaking butt rock for the blues, is what they're doing and stuff. They're conflating that, and that's complete bullshit. But it's been kind of a lonely thing, because I feel like this should be a band that is almost we refer to bands like Prefab Sprout, right, as being a songwriters band, where it's other bands think this is the best band in the world because it's just super inspirational, interesting, forward thinking stuff. And I feel like Oxbow should be that for an entire group of alternative, kind of heavier, darker musicians, and in fields like industrial or metal or hardcore or what have you and stuff. But I just don't really see that and stuff. So seeing it come through from anywhere was so cool to me. So seeing so hearing a Eugene impression that I obviously was just oh yeah, this sounds like this they're it just instantly was oh, this has Oxbow influence. That's so cool. And then but that connection that you whenever you mention, I think it's in the liner notes for on the Bandcamp for Lonely Place of Dying, you mentioned Horse the Band there too. And that was actually the connection where I was oh shit, Horse the Band might also listen to Oxbow, because there's sort of Nathan's delivery on some of that stuff also feels a little bit kind of inspired from that kind of gravelly, I don't know, just super just off the top, it feels so unrestrained, there's no attention being paid to the conventional way to sing something and stuff. It just all comes just straight from the gut. And I feel like Nathan shares that as well. So it's kind of I'm starting to connect a little the tiniest little framework of Oxbow is the coolest thing ever, and I just want to see more of it in other bands too, because I just think they're just that special, and they should kind of reverberate a bit more, because I see them as legends, and I think they are legends to some extent, they're respected people. You get that. Yeah,
God.
But,
they were legends, but somehow time has sort of shifted the narrative. It's things have been revised.
Yeah,
somehow.
It feels like it's eroded.
Yeah, I think that there are certain bands that kind of wind up inadvertently getting labeled products of their time, and I think that in a lot of those instances that kind of winds up eroding a lot of the magic that those bands carried outside of that.
God,
Yeah.
that
People,
makes me sad.
people see, of course, the band and they go, "Oh, Nintendo Core, that thing,"
Right.
and that's kind of where it starts and stops. Which I
Right,
think is
right.
a shame.
It is a shame though, because like both those bands like were kind of pushing the boundaries on both of those sounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. So yeah, so I don't know. I just felt like a sort of community listening to the new Nouns record and being like, oh shit, hell yeah, this is one of my guys. Like I just love hearing some of these influences. But yeah, just that stuff was super cool. I also love that you do like a black metal screaming about like Seinfeld in Sentai Core. I think that's hilarious.
I'm glad you like that.
I was reading it through with the lyrics last night and stuff, just like kind of for the show and everything, and I just thought that was hilarious. I like, because I didn't realize what you were saying at that part, and I was just like, he's talking about fucking Kramer and Seinfeld, and just it's like
when my bandmate Kyle, like he heard it, he's like, oh, that's so tight, like what are you saying there? And when I sent it to him, he was like, oh my, he just burst out laughing. He was like, yo, let me get on that, and he did like the background vocals, but
that's so funny.
The Seinfeld part just really that yeah, it was sincere too. I was marathoning Seinfeld, and I found myself just like thinking about this stupid fucking record about whatever it's about, and I just like, an episode ended and I just started clapping, and then I realized what had happened, and like it was weird. I think I was just delirious or something, but
I also I similarly feel like I wound up in kind of a fugue state in spots while I was watching Seinfeld for the first time last year. I fucking through part of me watching it, my wife was out of town. She was visiting family, and I was in our tiny little apartment at the time, alone with my cat, watching Seinfeld nonstop while I fucking played a bunch of JRPGs for too long video that I made. And there were definitely a few points where I was like, I gotta shower, but like I'm gonna take my laptop into the bathroom with me. Like, I can still watch it while I'm.
I gotta see what's
happening with
Costanza.
George's wife.
Yeah. Costanza.
Oh man. You've mentioned like so like I wonder like how many members are there right now of Nouns? Like is it just you and Kyle you've mentioned, or
I could give like a bullshit answer. I'll give a real answer. Yeah, it's Kyle and I like compose for it, and then we've like joked around. Like at one point on the Bandcamp, we had like 30 different people listed as members. Because the joke has always been like, if you're in our friend group or like play CS:GO with us or something, you're just like in the band. So we're trying to posture our friend Manuel as like the keyboardist / composer. We'll see how that takes off, but right now there's officially only
kind of like fucking like in an act of hyperstition, like will him into being the keyboard player, or like
he started learning. He recently started learning.
Holy
oh
fucking
my
shit,
god,
that's amazing.
It's working.
It's happening. It's happening.
It wasn't even. I didn't even mean to do it on purpose, but yeah, I think so. Like
now you just gotta reach out to that guy who's like the main conceptual designer of the band, John from Korea or whatever,
and get him in. Yeah,
get him in. Yeah, just really manifest.
Flea is gonna play bass on the first Burned In record, on the first Burned In LP.
I heard
this
about
is gonna happen. Yeah, we got
my
Flea.
Fucking body.
Come on, Flea is good. He played on the Mars Volta. He played on Deloused. So that's a good record. He plays on good albums too. It's not all Danny California.
No, I'm aware. How do you split the work between you and Kyle? Like
we live about 2 hours away from each other, so he'll show up. If I'm working on a record, I'll do 14-hour days, and
Mm.
and I'll do it like an actual job. Like I go into the living room with the coffee. I'm like, this again. He'll show up. He'll show up every now and then at the end of the weekend. He'll be like, oh, what'd you do this week? Ah, yes, I see. Let's change this and let's add this. Let's do this. How about
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
And so it's a lot of me, but it's very important that he is there to sort of balance me out, make sure everything is like solid, because
yeah,
I can.
yeah,
You've talked about this before, the where you just work on something for so long that your quality of thought just like
yeah, yeah,
degrades.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm. I have a lot of that.
Yeah, I find myself really, really missing having a songwriting partner functionally,
Mm.
where I can just say, like, look, I got this far. I'm fucking stuck. I've been agonizing over this. Just play fucking something that's in the same key and in the same tuning, and we'll see where we go from there.
There's an inherent loneliness to bedroom like recording.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I think about it a lot. I feel bad, but it's there's a things are progressing to the point where more and more bedroom producers are popping up every day, and
Yeah.
I you talk to some of them and it's like, yeah, I just worked on this by myself for hours, and I hope someone listens to it. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been weird. I've kind of been trying to work on music now that I've kind of found this inspiration again. Trying to kind of figure out how to view it as like a part of how I make my living. Because like obviously with YouTube I set my hours, but I try to have a pretty strict 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Um, 5 days a week. So that means I'm kind of like clocking out and then I'm studying for a little bit and then I make dinner for my wife and then it's like, okay, music. And the weekends come and that's my like 14-hour day. Kind of trying to figure out how to think about music in those terms. But I find that there's a degree to which that kind of active squirreling that time away is, like you said, like a lot like lonelier than weirdly than it was when I think I when I was pulling those much longer hours. Because I think the thing about music and the thing about being a bedroom producer to a certain degree is that if you're writing things that are pretty dense, a song can kind of be a perpetual motion machine up to a point. I think
oh
it can
yeah,
be very easy to spend 14 hours straight in a way that's just not really my experience with working on videos. Maybe in the
Mm.
editing phase where there's kind of like a goal to get to, but obviously sometimes ideas just kind of stop somewhere. But with making videos, it's so like it's a series of bottlenecks, whereas I feel like music is not that way at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
you can get like overly maximal with bedroom production
yeah,
just throughout the day. Like you can
yeah,
start off with here's a layer of, for instance, we were talking about the organ the other day, and I'm surprised
right.
I didn't add a billion things to the organ on that record. But you can add one organ, you'd be like, yeah, sounds pretty good. But you know what it could use is like another one, and then
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
another one, and like just keep
Yeah.
going. And then
And then of course whenever I do that I'm like, well, if I'm gonna layer it, I should have a different like inversion for these chords. And then I spend like a
true.
half hour inverting all of them and then fucking I'm like, oh, I kinda hear a melody in here. Why not add another counterpoint? There's one song on this record I'm working on that's like really bad. It's like all counterpoint all the time. I don't even know if it's listenable anymore. Uh, but I kinda like that about it. Um
Yeah.
I feel like there's a part of me that I only fight against sometimes that is kind of the mindset of like when I literally can't envision adding anything else to this, it's done.
For me, it's like I had to set like a turn in time. Like I'm getting it mastered on this date, so I have to turn it in by this date. So
Mm.
um and I'd worked that out with one of my friends. They were just because we talked a lot about like the the never-ending record or whatever. And he said, well, just book a date, like book an appointment to get it mastered, and then like you have to have it finished by then. So
Yeah,
and that was pretty helpful, honestly, having
Yeah.
6 months to work on it, and then it has to be done. That was very
You
helpful.
got to kick it out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was a pretty good time. There was only one day where I was like stuck, and I couldn't figure anything out. That was a terrible day. But that was on the song Magnificent Steiner. I was trying to figure out how to work out that song like for 10 hours straight, just sitting on my couch, like staring at my computer and like just about to cry, just like I can't figure it out. And then the next day I came back and like just knocked it out. Like it was like,
oh yeah, no, my wife makes fun of me because I'll kind of like put my headphones down and kind of lean back in my chair and go like, I'm a fucking hack. I'm never gonna write anything good ever again. I can't fucking figure out where to go with this. And then a day later, I'm like, I figured it out. I'm a genius. But it's really funny that you say that. I was talking to Nikki and I was like, I couldn't decide if Magnificent Steiner or Coma Wall was my favorite track on the record.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
mine's Coma Wall.
It's
yeah.
Coma Wall is.
I think those two as a
so
suite
fucking...
is like definitely like the highlight of highlights, which is crazy because it's a record made of highlights.
Yeah,
that's really sweet. That's really nice. Patrick Rinkiewicz, I don't know how to say his last name. Very nice Polish fella with the trumpet. Delivered an amazing trumpet on that song.
How did you get into contact with this guy?
I emailed him.
But like, how did you know about him?
I just Googled like trumpeteers that need work.
Wow! Whoa!
Holy shit!
That's so cool.
Some of these are just people I know. Some of them are like people I just like happen to across from Google, and some of them are like just from Fiverr. Like I don't know, just normal.
Wow!
Just like
that's sick.
Yeah, I've definitely thought a few times about just tweeting like, does anybody I follow play the fucking viola? Like, who's
got a damn oboe?
However much you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's got a damn oboe?
Who's got a damn oboe? Someone hit me up with a didgeridoo. Let's fucking get in this.
My fucking white whale has been a pedal steel guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can just Google that.
I want pedal steel on fucking everything I write. But those motherfuckers have to be built by the like for the person that they're getting sent out to.
Yeah.
So like fucking nobody owns one. Whenever I say pedal steel, people are like, "Oh, you just get a slide."
No.
Like, no, it's not the same.
No.
No.
They're pretty frequent down here in Arkansas.
That's true.
Arkansas road trip. Let's fucking get this.
Yeah.
You can come to a whole. There's a pedal steel here for sure. Yep. There's a lot of them. I also wanted pedal steel on this record, but it wasn't gonna make it in time for
I literally did the most insane shit on one song on my next record where I took like three different copies of the same guitar VST, and I would like fade in the volume on them independently and like set the pitch bend amounts on all of them differently to basically treat each stack of the same instrument as different strings. Like I like looked up like how they're tuned so that I could try to make something that sounded realistic. I think I got like maybe 30% of the way there, but I'm happy with how it sounds, so it's fine.
It's I think you can try to emulate it using if you throw in a pitch shifter and then use automation to do kind of like semitones that are shifting here and there throughout the
that was what I did. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Okay. Then I don't know how to help you.
I think the only solution for me is just to slowly save up money to buy one and then learn it myself.
I guess we could get like a lap still, but I think there is
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah.
It's not the same. It's so sad. But yeah.
You need like space in your apartment because They take up a
Yeah,
little
they're big.
space.
They do, yeah. That's like a fucking long-term goal.
Yeah.
One of
Mine
those
is a
long-term goals
saxophone.
that may never even... What's that?
Mine's a saxophone. I want to
Oh,
learn the
sick.
sax. Yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
best. It's the best. Okay, it squeals and makes
Oh
weird,
yeah,
weird.
a good saxophone squeal. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the coolest.
That's like the equivalent of like a the some of the like really noisy solos that Hisako Tabuchi does on
Oh
like
yeah.
certain Number Girl
Oh
records.
yeah.
Like the fucking like lead on Tattoo Ari that's just like she's just like hitting the tremolo arm so low that it's just like
Mhm.
yeah. That's a saxophone can just do that. You don't need
Yeah.
pedals.
I can just do
Yeah.
that, and
You just need a mouth and fingers.
A mouth.
like one of my biggest influences is John Zorin.
Yeah.
And so, yep, no, so good.
Yeah.
Stupidly good. I shouldn't have picked up guitar. It should have been sax, and I think about that all the time.
I always fucking think like if I had just joined a band in high school, I'd have an instrument
Yes.
under my belt. Why didn't I do that? Why did I fucking spend my whole high school
Yeah.
experience fucking making Let's Plays?
Yeah, it's
The fuck is wrong with me?
yeah. Oh man, if I could just like, if I could do my youth over for the sole goal of being the like exactly the type of person with exactly the type of abilities I would need to make like the most insane record, I would love. I would love to do that. I would.
Yeah,
I
if
would
I could
do it.
redo high school, I would learn guitar earlier and start picking up a second language independently from school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are my
yeah.
two big regrets. It's not like I should have asked out fucking Sandy Jenkins.
No. I would be dead set on. I'd have no friends because I'd be dead set on learning the the instruments I want to learn and the language and all that stuff and just being an insane person. Yeah.
I need to make it. I just realized the name that came out of my mouth accidentally was the same one from the fucking Chiodos song.
But also
why does that name
the,
sound familiar?
Well, that's also just like the Sadie the like. No, it's Sadie Hawkins. Sadie
No,
Hawkins.
yeah.
See, okay, and it wasn't Sadie Jenk. Oh, okay. Yeah. The name that popped out of your mouth was the Chiodo song. You're right.
Yeah.
With the most just fucking fuck ass intro. I love how like that Chiodos record is like almost as like outsider art as like the Attack album is and stuff is like.
I was thinking about that opening when I heard Sentai Quarry for the first time.
Yeah,
because that's a fucking cracked riff. It's so good. It's like thinking of that and thinking of like the paper chase. Editing Hazel here again. Pretty big chunk missing here. I thought about leaving in Nicky and I's sides of it, but it didn't seem worth it. We talked a lot about anime. That was kind of the long and short of it.
I just turn shit on and just watch it and stuff, and I just stay up and watch like Case Closed and Yu Yu Hakusho.
So funny. My stepdad had
bullshit.
to wake up at 4 a.m. He's worked in construction his whole life.
Yeah.
And so he would be such a light sleeper that when I was temporarily, I was living with them years and years ago after living out on my own for the first time. I had to move back with them for a while. I couldn't play an unplugged electric guitar without him waking up and being like, I gotta sleep. You gotta stop.
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
Damn, being a construction guy and a light sleeper, a bad combo. Fucking,
I know.
He lost his role on life.
I know.
He just like he rolled all of his stats and it just sucked.
And he's doing good.
He's doing good. Yeah. He made it work. But he started off pretty bad though. Yeah.
Similar. Like my dad is a logger, like a truck driver for logs, the trees.
Oh wow, yeah.
And definitely 4 a.m. kind of guy. So during those Adult Swim sessions, I would have been like really close to the TV, like super close, super quiet. I'm like constantly waiting, like listening out of my right ear for like somebody to open the door in the hallway. Oh my god, I remember one night I was like having a nervous breakdown trying to get through it, but Dead Leaves was on, and I just thought it was like the dirtiest thing ever. I was just freaking out. Like I gotta see the end of this before they wake up or whatever.
Yeah, I caught that one. I caught that one late. I caught that on the fucking Nintendo Wii Netflix app.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the DVD.
No, I didn't have the DVD. I downloaded it.
That is such a specific.
Yeah, and you better believe that was on a fucking CRT buffering every 3 fucking seconds. I remember I showed it to like a friend of mine at the time. We had a sleepover, and I was like, "This is gonna fucking blow your mind," and it kind of didn't.
That's always a bummer. That's always the biggest bummer. It's like, dude, you gotta come over and watch Donnie Darko. It's gonna blow your mind.
Dude, a fucking friend of mine, shout out to Max, watched it and was like, "Yo, this is just Denpa. This is just American Denpa anime."
My friend Ryan, who I do pedal folds with, he came over and actually did. He came over to my house. He went to this is my dojo, right? He came over and fucking showed me Akira and blew my mind. I was like,
"Holy
whoa."
shit!
Oh yeah. He he slept over at my house and we watched Akira, and I was like, holy shit. It was like, it was really funny because we watched it, but it was really late, and we were both like, what the fuck? And then all we could do was just go to bed. We were just like, well, that was that. That's all she wrote. And then just like laid down, go to bed.
That was also literally what happened when I watched it recently. I watched it and I was like, holy fuck, that is the most movie I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I went to bed.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on this, but I think it's like the highest budget anime film that's ever been a thing. I'm sure
that sounds right.
I mean, it sounds right.
At least at the time. At least at the time.
Yeah.
It's a couple mil, and I always wonder about the process of picking out Akira as like the thing that they would put so much money into.
Akira the manga revolutionized manga. If you look at older manga before Akira came out, there's a really clear delineation. Otomo really revolutionized line art. Pre Otomo, with a few exceptions, line art was way thicker and a lot less precise. But after Otomo, suddenly everybody was using way thinner pens to get way more delicate, way more deliberate lines that could imply a lot more detail. And that sent like really big ripples throughout the just like all of manga. It created like a really heavy like sci-fi boom. A lot of like I think there was like an ESP boom as a result of it too.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Fucking Hoshiwo Miruhito, the fucking infamously bad Famicom game, is like for sure existing in the wake of Akira.
Yeah, the 90s near future chapter of Live Alive is like basically just riffing on Akira and like just OVAs that followed in its wake. There's also the fact that Otomo directed the movie himself. The mangaka just literally walked in there and was like, "Yeah, let's do this," and then directed the entire movie himself.
Yeah. And that had happened after he had done the character designs for that same studio's adaptation of Genmo Wars, the Ishinomori comic.
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Harmageddon is the English title for that movie. It's so fucking crazy that was the title they went with.
That sounds like a fucking Sega CD game.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah. Like that fucking like you die and it's like you get like a guy that pops in screen and like it takes like just a fraction of a second too long for him to start talking because they didn't cut it right. Like, looks like you died.
Right. Oh my god.
I put a lot of faith in you, don't you know? And then it's like restart, yes or no, and then you got to watch the whole FMV cutscene again.
Have you guys seen fucking Johnny Mnemonic?
No, I need to.
I just watched. Yeah, the Keanu Reeves movie. I just watched it like last week with my friend Kat. Shouts out, Kat. What's up? that whole movie is a Sega CD like FMV. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like I was laughing. Like that movie is not very good, but I was laughing, crying. I was having such a good time watching that movie and just yelling the whole time. Fucking like Henry Rollins is in it, and he just like acts exactly like himself. Like he basically does like a slam poetry bit in like just halfway through the movie and is just like, technology's taking over everything, man. You're connected to this. You're connected to this. And the whole time it's like he doesn't look any different. He's still in just like a black shirt.
Yeah.
But all that's different is that he has thick rimmed glasses. And he's just like, and he's like a doctor.
Henry Rollins is in a fucking Richard Kern film, and as I was watching it, I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to see his cock." Thankfully, I didn't, but I was really scared for a second there. I didn't want to see fucking Go Grandpa's penis.
Henry Rollins is one of the funniest motherfuckers to just see in a movie.
Yeah.
Just like, fucking, oh my Jack god, it's him.
You ever see any of the like spoken word like fucking like seminars that he's given where he talks about families being like, oh my god, you were in Jack Frost. My son loved that movie and then he died. And I'm just being like, I don't.
Oh my god.
I can't help you.
I can't help you, man.
Man.
There's a future out there. You need to go to the gym. I can't help you right now. That's my terrible Henry Rollins. Yeah, I've listened. All the seminars he's done.
I think he's great. He's a blast.
He's a blast.
That video of him like owning that kid that's in that literal child like that's trying to interview him.
God. You don't think girls can be a punk?
Yeah, the one that Brett made the edit of where it's like,
does this look like selling out to you, bro?
Henry Rollins is one of the funniest guys I've ever seen in my life. He's so funny. It's like, Henry, come on the show sometime. I promise I won't laugh.
Talking about his everyday breakfast.
No,
he steams a bag of rice and then like cooks some eggs and cuts them into strips and then just pours soy sauce over them and that's it. It's like every day. It's just because I'm lazy. Every day, that's my breakfast.
He's so funny.
Like that coming from the mouth of the guy who's talked about like fucking almost dying in active war zones that he traveled to just for fun.
Right.
Because it was the Bush administration.
Oh god. Johnny Mnemonic, they didn't even bother to like edit out or like put makeup over his like black flag tattoo on the back of his neck. It's like you can just see this like, yeah, this is the black flag tattoo on the back of his neck or whatever. Like I guess they thought it maybe vaguely looked like a barcode. So it's like barcode, maybe maybe it works. But I noticed, I was like, that's just black flag, hey. God, yeah, the fucking kills me. Did we get like any other questions?
I mean, Hunter, are you down to just like bullshit some other answers, some other questions that were just sent to us, just for the two of us?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we can do like two of them and stuff, just because I don't want this to go too crazy long. But
yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one for you because I feel like my answer is a little boring. Mox Bagel wants to know.
I know that guy.
What is your holy grail manga adaptation? Could be something unadapted or that needs a different adaptation. Mine is a series adapting the full Nazca manga. Maybe done with Ono for good measure, they say.
For me, I think an easy one is I would love to see literally anybody else on the planet other than Toei Animation do Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like if Bones did Dragon Ball, like that'd be a cool anime and stuff, or something like that. My other answer is one that might actually be happening, which is that weird announcement that was made like 3 years ago now or something, where fucking like Studio Sunrise was gonna just readapt Akira, like just gonna do the manga version, but like anime. And like Otimo announced this at Anime Expo like 3 years ago or something, and
Yeah.
nothing's come of it yet. But it's supposedly happening. So, if that happened, that would definitely be a dream anime. I'd love to see it. Like if they released it as like OVA, like if they released it like Gundam Unicorn, and it was like 6 to 8 like hour-long specials or whatever.
Oh, like with Giant Robo.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
perfect. That'd
Yeah.
be perfect. Yeah, but yeah, those are my first answers.
I
would
feel
say.
like mine secretly already exists and I just haven't seen it yet, and that's the 3-hour-long Helter Skelter adaptation.
Oh shit. Yeah.
The Kyoko Okazaki manga. In 2012 it got an adaptation that looks fucking insane. It looks it's only 2 hours. I don't know why I thought it was 3 hours long. But I'm gonna send you a link to the thing, and then I'm going to show you what the woman who directed it looked like, because she literally just looks like her movies. Obviously this is an audio podcast, but it's Mika Ninagawa. But I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak. Okay, well that's definitely not an image. Son of a bitch. Okay, there we go. You can just look at her there. Anyway.
Yeah, I see that.
I think that's like the really crazy one for me, is like I can't even imagine how you'd adapt Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
What about you, Hunter?
To make a manga adaptation out of something that already exists.
Or that hasn't yet been adapted.
Yeah, just a dream one. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did such a good job, as I call them, with Ping Pong, that I would love to see number 5 or Sunny from Taiyo.
Ooh, yeah. Other Taiyo Matsumoto stuff. Yeah.
I mean, just knock it out of the fucking park. Do it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Ping Pong was Science Saru, right? It was the Masaki Yuasa adaptation.
Yeah. It was Science Saru. The Science Saru was doing a fucking Scott Pilgrim adaptation.
Yeah,
soon.
what the fucking fuck? How did that happen? That's the weirdest shit ever.
They might make Scott Pilgrim fucking rule.
It was technically Tatsunoko production, but it was Masaaki Yuasa who did the adaptation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. Science Saru doing like number 5. Number 5 is a comic I need to get my hands on. It keeps not being at my Barnes and Noble, but I want it really bad.
It's I got into it after figuring out who Mobius was through a
Mobius is the shit. Yeah.
It's all making sense. I'm enjoying it very much. I'm trying my best not to compare it to like Sunny or Ping Pong, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you read any Mobius comics?
No, I've only seen just paintings and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, his comic The In Call is like one of my favorite things. Like, I don't know, it's just amazing. It's like technically quote unquote written by Alejandro Jodorowsky and stuff, but like, and it was like kind of like a weird offshoot of the Dune adaptation they were gonna try and do, but like it's just. Like at the end of the day, it's just an insane, like 60s French comic or whatever, and like I don't know, you're just reading that for the visuals anyway. So like, so it's just a cool thing to look at for, however long you're looking at it and stuff. So that one's kind of one of my prized possessions, along with my Akira hardcovers and stuff.
I really want to change my answer now, by the way.
Do it.
Fuck it. I most of these fucking questions I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
An hour passes after we're done, and I'm like, duh.
And then it hits you. I've been reading Koji Suzuki's Ring, like all the Ring books about the Ring with the girl in the well.
Oh, yeah.
There are manga that exist. I only got my hands on one of them because the volume 1 is like $40. I'm not doing that right now. But
that's crazy. I remember my high school library had those.
Yeah, like it's just something you saw like growing up, right? And you think like, oh yeah, maybe one day, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got something else to read. I got freaking rave master.
Yeah.
uh,
Real big fish moment.
I would love to see a true to form, scary as fuck Ring adaptation. I
Yeah.
really like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
And I haven't seen a good horror anime in a hot minute.
Have you seen Pulse, by the way?
Yeah, Pulse is
Yes.
tight.
That's the coolest movie.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it earlier today because like I was talking about horror movies in a different server, and I was like, man, Pulse is like one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I need to see Cure. I like because that's coming on Criterion soon, and I need to buy that and see it.
It's
That's by the same director.
It's scary in such a different way. Well, actually, not in a different, because a Pulse does deal a little bit with like sort of this like infection theme, right?
Yeah,
right. He kind of does carry that over into Cure, and it plays on the same kind of fears. But yeah, Pulse is probably one of my favorite horror movies. Just has a weird atmosphere about it. Just
it's incredible. It's like the best thing.
The way that it gradually becomes a disaster film is that was one of the craziest trends I've ever seen. It's seriously some of the most fucking confident filmmaking.
It's just bonkers by the end of it.
And then it fucking ends with that J-Rock song. Fucking amazing, delicious. The best thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
I feel like I'm just gonna say I want to say an adaptation of fucking Pink. Just give me more Kyoko Okazaki adaptations, and we're square.
Kyoko Okazaki, like Pink has like a crocodile in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it like a pink crocodile?
It's a white crocodile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Suda 51 references that in Flower, Sun, and Rain.
Is there a white crocodile?
There's a pink crocodile in Flower, Sun, and Rain.
That's basically the same thing.
Yeah. It's like it's like there's a pink crocodile that just like follows around some girl that like basically has nothing to do with the plot. Flower, Sun, and Rain is the coolest fucking game.
I've joked to myself that it'll come up in a future video.
Look, getting a little tease.
Last question we'll do this time. I think this is a really funny one to contrast all the evil music we've been talking about this episode. Lucy wants to know, I've been listening to a lot of Stereolab the past few weeks and have actually been paying attention to the lyrics for once. Realize that almost all Stereolab songs are about hope in some way, the will to embrace and change the world and all its contradictory parts. So in the same vein, I thought I'd ask, what are some of your favorite hope-infused music and art? Stuff that makes you want to face the world with regained spirit.
Have Heart.
What was that?
Growing up, I listened to this Boston hardcore band called Have Heart, and like literally.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Oh lyrics, man, Have Heart's a big one. Yeah.
All their lyrics just get through the day. Come
on. Oh my gosh, that's really good.
I know it's kind of a cheap answer, but I find that I really like hopeful works that are still kind of acerbic.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate when a work can be hopeful and empathetic, but also still kind of like fucked up and mean. Like, that's something I really covet about End of Evangelion in particular. Is I've always interpreted that as being like a very hopeful and kind of life-affirming work of art.
Yeah,
but, it's
same.
also one that is very caustic at the same time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean,
I think that I find myself really rejecting media that kind of indulges in nihilism, and like a certain kind of nihilism, I should say.
Yeah.
But when it can kind of still feel like it's trying to understand you and kind of guide you somewhere in a way that doesn't feel condescending, I think that can be a really big win for me.
Yeah.
As music is concerned, though.
Yeah, with music, I feel like I need to like look at my library because I feel like I listen to so much sad shit all the fucking time.
Yeah, because like my first thought was like, kind of weirdly feel like Rilo Kiley is one of my go-tos, even though their lyrics are very sad. I think it's that kind of like the notion that you keep living through it
Yeah.
is, I think, kind of in and of itself in and of itself a hopeful thing for me.
Yeah. I'll say in terms of like big series and stuff, I'd say probably like One Piece at the end of the day is like always just like a like I don't know, just every tyrant in power will eventually get their due, and it's going to be by like the dumbest thing possible. In this case, it's like a rubber guy and stuff, and and it's like and it's always like, I don't know, it's like a sort of hopeful thing where, because like the entire manga is like fighting against this like police state, this fascism, that's like literally like funded by like big wigs with too much money and no like heart or like soul whatsoever. I also want to say, like, I feel like another cheap answer would be the Chariot, just because like just because it was some Christian guys going hard as hell for the Lord, and it was, and like but also like Long Live I find to be an extremely like just like uplifting piece of just extremely hard as fuck music and stuff. Yeah, I had something else too, but I'm trying to think right now. But oh, look, specifically the song "Famous Last Words" by My Chemical Romance is one of the most like gives me chills when I hear it. Like the bridge every single time like gets me, and so like I'm just like, fuck, dude, I am gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's like around the song "Cancer." You're like, I don't know if I'm going to keep going. And by Famous Last Words, you're like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I got this. I got this shit, man. Yeah. Once you hear the breakdown to Mama, everything changes. You're like, wait a minute, maybe this shit's so hard. I think maybe I might keep going. And then Famous Last Words are like, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, I don't know if I can think of anything else. I'll keep thinking though.
It's weird because that album is so much more macabre as opposed like the Three Cheers and also Bullets kind of use a lot of, I wouldn't call them pop punk sort of chords, but they use a lot of like octave chords that sound sort of major and like life affirming, but the lyrics in those are just about vampires or like taking too many drugs, and then the more I don't know what you would call it, dark circus sounding record is the one that's the most life affirming, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's also like this is like the maybe the corniest band I've brought up so far, but like I just kind of think they're fun. Enter Shikari's like
fucking
whole
yes. I'm so glad you brought them up.
Oh, yeah.
Enter Shikari's whole MO is just like, yeah, man, we're gonna stick it to those guys, and it's so sick. And then they do. Like it's so sick listening to like arguing with thermometers. Like again, 10 years after it came out, and it's like literally this same shit is still going on and stuff. And it's like in some way that's sad, but also in another way, it's like, yeah, we still gotta stick it to those guys.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I was totally going to forget about them. But like every now and again, you just gotta put on Juggernauts and hear that riff and be like, yeah, man, it's time to start the day.
Yeah, they're just so fun. Like I don't know, I like those guys just on principle.
They should be so much cornier than they are. Like when on paper they should be like fucking Muse.
Yeah, right. They're already starting like it's already like an uphill battle because they're British, right? And it's
the
like
British accent coming through a little bit. It's so funny to hear the British accent coming through like the heaviest part, and he's like, oh,
yeah. He says like core. Fly me, and so like,
and on top of that, the gang vocals that are all with the accent.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I'm not really super crazy about gang vocals just as like a concept sometimes and stuff. So like,
You spoiled motherfucker.
I
Nikki
know,
Austin having
I
a
know.
band that could record them for you.
I
I've
know.
wanted gang vocals on everything I've ever fucking made. I love them. I think they're great. You know how many people I can get in a room at one time? None. And gang vocals don't work if you just have a bunch of people recording to their own microphones. I tried once. It didn't work.
That's what I do. But I do different voices, like silly voices underneath. So it kind of sounds like different people.
Oh, shit. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah, just do like cartoon voices, but then like your main voice that you want to stand out a little bit on top, and then just do cartoon voices under.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Which voices do you do?
Like Goofy or
I do I do like Family Guy impression.
Have you seen the Family Guy Maroon 5 video thing?
Fuck
No.
That is like the funniest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Hold on. I have to find it.
I can't play it because that song will be in my head for at least a few more days after that, and I can't let it back in. I can't let that darkness inside of me.
It's maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my fucking entire life. And my friend Wyatt torments me with it.
I want it right now.
Oh no, I got it.
God damn.
I got it. It's the dark gradient around it too that just fucking annihilates
the
me.
solemn impression, the solemn expression on their faces.
it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
You didn't once bring up the interview with Kevin Gates.
True. Before we started recording, Nikki was like, I need you to know ahead of time. Like, I know that this is an episode where we have a guest on. It's very likely that I'm going to bring up this clip of this interview with Kevin Gates.
Where Kevin Gates started a car battery with his bare hands. Yeah. And DJ Academics is like, you did not start a car battery with your bare hands. And he goes like, on my children's lives.
May God kill my children.
May God kill my children today.
I love it.
It's like, I've been thinking about that video all fucking week. I've been like, it's been rolling around in my head. My friend Bleach showed it to me, I think. And it's just the funniest thing. We're gonna get Bleach. Like, we have to. He's so funny. Like, I love Bleach so much.
At this point, I'm just like, we just need to have every episode be a fucking guest episode. There are too many people. There are too many people
that are way cooler than we are. That like,
and there are too many people that I want to have on like multiple times.
Yeah. Like you, Hunter.
Like you,
yeah. If you ever want to come back on, let us know. We'll fucking
please come back on any fucking time just to chill.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, it's fucking it's sick. This was a great time.
Yeah, did we go for 3 fucking hours?
Almost. We're getting there.
Jesus Christ! I'm sorry for holding you for so long.
From what? Like reading Chainsaw?
Yeah, true.
All right.
Yeah,
but I do think that is a podcast.
I think that's a podcast. We went long enough that my wife messaged me and was like, "Hey, I ordered pizza. Don't make dinner."
I also had pizza today, so perfect.
Fuck yeah!
So we're all synced up. But yeah, this was the best. And Hunter, do you have like a Twitter or something where people can follow you or whatever, or do you just want to just promo the album? So based. I wish I didn't have a Twitter.
Well, it's online. It's on streaming things. It's like on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah. Nouns, While of Unsigned Nouns. Yeah.
Album of the year.
Album of the year.
I'll fucking say it. Fucking Midori would have to get back together and put out a new record to trump this.
That'd be good.
I'll be straight up. If you haven't been convinced by this conversation to check out this album, I was debating whether or not to bring this up. But Nikki and I were talking about this record a few days ago, and I came to the conclusion. I listened to it, and I listened to a record that's very near and dear to both Nikki and I. I came to the conclusion that I think While of Unsound Mind is the first like true successor to Brave Little Abacus just got back from the discomfort.
Whoa.
Since that record,
And
All
like,
of Unsound Mind is
what-
the first true successor.
Thank you. That's really
lots of high
cool.
praise. Lots
Yeah,
of high
that's
praise.
really cool.
Yeah. We really love this thing.
Okay.
So, yeah. All the hype.
Yeah,
Uh,
I want to
but
see.
yeah.
I want to see this record fucking soar.
Thank
boost. Let's boost this shit. Signal boost this album.
Yeah,
let's fucking go.
start DMing Fantano. Don't do that.
do not DM Fantano.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. But yeah, Human Insect. I mean, you know where to find me and Hazel at this point.
It's fine. It's all in the description. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
then,
it is all in there.
Yeah, Hunter, you're more than welcome to link anything that you want us to link back to in the show notes. I'll link the records Bandcamp. But
All
anything
that
else?
stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone download Melty Blood Type Lumina. And,
Fucking true.
True.
That's really it for me, I guess.
Play it on your laptop in a fucking hotel bedroom.
Yeah. Play it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Man, fucking, what a game.
Podcast.
Yeah, podcast. Thank you.
Podcast.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.